No, this is not the Revenge of the Fallen one. Hey everyone, I'm Ron Todd, a professional YouTuber who makes professional videos, and we're going to be continuing our look at Legacy Wave 1 with the first of the Deluxe class figures. This is Skids. So Skids transforms into a blue hatchback. It's supposed to be based off the Honda City Turbo. That's what the original Skids toy transformed into. Of course, this is legally distinct, so that Hasbro doesn't have to pay any copyright fees. However, if you do want a modern Skids that turns into the real car, there is always the Masterpiece one. But anyway, so Legacy Skids, he's a really nice little blue kind of hatchback, compact car, kind of or subcompact, I guess. Got the Autobot symbol right there on the hood, some really nice paint on the bumper, as well as just some sculpting in general. You can see there's some silver paint there along the front grille, yellow on the headlights. The turn signals are picked out in red paint, which is really nice. Big black bumper, really nice, low to the ground. Some red stripe with silver kind of stripes also on the side there, which is really nice. Lacking on paint on the back though, which is unfortunate. Oh, it does have a sunroof, which I think is really cute. He doesn't roll all that well. To be fair, a lot of modern Transformers toys, ever since they stopped using metal pins as much, they don't roll very well due to the higher friction on the pinned-in wheels, as you can see. His wheels are just kind of mushroom pegged on there on the front. Yeah, those don't roll too good. However, he does use metal pins on the rear wheels. Those roll pretty well. Doesn't roll all that good though. He does have some holes all over him, specifically in the roof here, so you can kind of pal around with his accessories here. He also has one on either side, which is nice. You could technically have all three of his accessories going at once here. You could have one on the roof and one on either side. So the thing with Skids' vehicle mode, I do like the way it looks. Very nice. It does kind of have some panel lines going for it, but I mean, it's a Transformers toy. Of course, it's going to have some panel lines. Of course, it is kind of the problem here with this window's clear plastic. This one's sculpted in, but it's not clear. It's just kind of there. Kind of the problem a lot of people have with Earthrise Ironhide. To be fair, the back, or the bottom of it honestly doesn't look that bad. Of course, it's the head sticking out right there. Hello. But yeah, it's a pretty nice little car. My problem is kind of a lack of paint. So, like, the front looks great. Side got the whole stripe thing going for it, but the back is just, oh no. But it does some great sculpting. It got the little exhaust pipes there. I don't know what all this stuff is. That's space for a license plate. I guess there's like the brake lights there, and I guess that's the rear windshield. This is a nice little car mode. It's definitely not the best thing in the world. I personally think the Earthrise Datsun mold has a really good car mode. Definitely a better one than this one. I'm only saying that because I did just recently pay a scalper for Earthrise Ironhide and Prowl. Yeah, I'm still in denial on the fact that I spent $200 on 2 deluxes. Ay, ay, ay. But anyway, with all that being said, with Skids vehicle mode, let's get into the transformation. Of course, this is going to be a lot more complicated than the core class dude, so this might take a little while longer. So let's see, I'm just going to get this out of the way. Those flip down. And then you do the really cool thing that a lot of Transformers do, where the door opens up. I always love it when a Transformer transforms in a way to where the car doors can open. Sure, it's just a bunch of folded up robot junk on the inside, but it's always just a nice little thing. Kind of makes it feel more like a real car. Then this whole thing opens up like that. Kind of do the Siege Earthrise Prowl thing, where the arms fold down, and then fold out on the sides like that. At this point, roof kind of unpegs from that portion there, and then pulls out like that. These flip up, legs separate. You can fold the hood down to form the chest. Snap the hood into place. Pretty sure I'm doing this right. And the door wings kind of angle back like that if you want to. You don't have to, but I kind of like to. Then you rotate the arms so the tires are facing the doors, flip the arms down, and then rotate the forearms forward like that. And there you go. It's pretty simple and straightforward transformation. I kind of like it. I definitely think it's easier getting it out of vehicle mode than it is getting it into vehicle mode. Trust me, there's reasons why I'm transforming these guys into robot mode and not starting with this form. One, because it's cooler, and two, because generally it's actually a lot simpler a lot of times to get it into the robot mode than it is to get into the vehicle mode. So, here's Skids. Start off with the articulation. So he has a ball joint at the head, so move his head up and down a bit, and left and right. Universal joint at the shoulder. It's a bit stiff, so this happens all the time. Yikes. So you can move his arm out, in, well, not really all the way around because the door is getting in the way. Bend at the elbow, swivel at the elbow, wrist swivel, waist swivel, universal joint at the hip, so you can move his leg out, forward, and back. Sole at the thigh, bend at the knee, and swivel at the ankle. So standard stuff. However, of course, due to him having wrist swivels, that has put him above a lot of the other deluxes, as we'll see later on. So, that out of the way, let's get on to the accessories. So Skids has 3 accessories, which is actually kind of nice for a deluxe class figure. I mean, what do you think this is? Siege? Whatever. So 2 of his accessories are silver guns. Specifically, he has this double-barreled blaster thing, which is kind of your standard Skids weapon. Pretty much every single G1 based Skids toy comes with these, which there aren't a lot, but I mean, you know, the Masterpiece one comes with this. And he has this other gun, which I think is supposed to be based off the original toy. I don't know. You can fit him in his hands, which is, of course, you know, but you can also fit him right here. There's ports on both his forearms right behind the hands, which is what I actually kind of like to do, because I believe that's something the original toy did, to where it mounted them slightly behind the hand for some reason. I think this looks especially nice on the double-barreled gun. This other one here, regardless of what you put in it, or regardless of what port you put it in, he has this weird block, which could have easily just been, you know, the whole post itself. But no. So as a result, it kind of hovers slightly above his hand. I don't think it gets better when you have it in his hand actually like that. And it looks pretty decent from the front, but every other angle, just like hovering half an inch above everything. However, I do kind of tend to leave his guns here, just because I kind of prefer that look. So I think that's what the original toy did, and kind of glad they gave you that option. I think it looks especially nice here. His third weapon kind of ties into the whole overall gimmick of Legacy. By gimmick, I mean, I guess if that's what you want, sort of thing. So Legacy kind of has a gimmick, but it's about as gimmick as the sheer multitude of weapons you got with the Siege figures, to where it's like, oh, you can just give any figure any weapon, you can put them all over them. It's about as much of a gimmick as that. It doesn't intrude on the figure's design in any way. So, with each Legacy figure, you get a clear Energon weapon. Apparently, according to the designers of the toys, they didn't want to put these in, but Hasbro was like, you need to have some sort of reason to get people to want to buy these, which, yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of these things. They do look cool on a lot of the figures. I do dig the clear plastic, and I do think they are pretty well designed. It's just that I kind of prefer to just display my figures with the other guns and leave the weird clear thingy out of it. However, as I said, I do think they are all pretty well designed. There are a few of them I do display with my figures, but the more G1 guys have been getting, like Skids, Kickback, and the Blitzwing, I've left these off them. But like Bulkhead and RC and like Laser Prime, like yeah, I'm all for it. But this one, whatever. So it's an axe. What you can do is, since the double-barreled gun, put a plug in here, leaves his hands free. Wow, you can actually have him hold all 3 of his accessories at once. It's kind of cool. I kind of just now realized it. So it's an axe, but this isn't like your big, really cool, like swingy axe. This is more like kind of like a hatchet. At least that's what it looks like to me, because it's kind of short. It does look pretty nice when he's holding it like this, though, if I'm being honest. And his other way you can use it, there's a handle here, so you can have him use it as a gun too, if you really want. As I said, I honestly think this thing looks really cool, and it does have a lot of functionality. The fact that you can use it as either an axe or as a gun. But at the end of the day, I typically leave this off. It is cool, but yeah, I just don't really see it serving much purpose. And it's definitely not really a gimmick in the same way that, like, Combiner Wars, the whole combining thing, or Titan Turn, or the whole Headmaster thing, you know? You can also combine all of his weapons if you want to do that. I mean, I can get this out because it's kind of... Ah, jeez. There. You can... There's a hole here on the bottom, and you can take the port for on the double barrel gun, put it there, and then attach the energon thing on the top. I love it how it's kind of specifically designed to kind of fit into the barrel of the other gun. And you're gonna have this kind of big, clear blue thing. Doesn't look bad if I'm being perfectly honest. I think the way that like this piece here kind of like goes over the gun barrel kind of makes it feel like he's attaching like some sort of weapon mod or something. That's kind of what it feels like to me. So accessories are all pretty decent. I think his double-barreled gun's really good. His energon weapon's cool, but I kind of tend to leave it off the figure normally. And his other gun, it's fine. I don't like how it kind of has this whole thing in the back that makes it like float above the figure's hand. But at least looks good. I do think the silver paint looks really nice. So I'd say final verdict on Skids. He does have this weird head panel thing in the back, which kind of gets in the way of the sculpting. A lot of people complain about that, which it's really just to fill in the hood in vehicle mode, and to be honest, I think it's better than having just a separate head flap, because that's just another hinge that would end up breaking, you know? But yeah, final verdict on Skids. I think he's pretty good. I think he definitely does a good job of kind of rounding out the 85 Autobot cast, because I think something cool that Legacy's been doing so far, like, a lot of people don't like that they're still doing G1. However, I'm kind of a big G1 fan. And so having kind of Skids as a way to kind of fill out your 85 Autobots, it's really nice. That's something Legacy's kind of been doing, other than making new toys of a bunch of characters who didn't get new guys in the WFC line. Like, they've been making, like, Skids, and they're making new Stunticons and new Insecticons, and, like, I guess Elita 1. Well, sort of. Elita 1 did kind of get a WFC toy, but it, you know, sucked. And, I don't know who else. Point Blank, and also Crankcase. Yeah, those just got announced at Comic-Con recently. So, yeah. So he does a good job of filling out your kind of 85 Autobots. However, I really say it's pretty much all he's good for, which is really kind of what Skids is in general. He was always kind of the forgotten one, the guy who was always there, but never did anything. You know, didn't do much in the original cartoon. He did a little bit more in the Marvel comic. Really, the things he's best known for are being really cool in the one IDW comic, and then the Revenge of the Fallen movie, where he was absolutely horrible. Even though I still say, as controversial as this is going to be, I do want Studio Series toys of Skids and Mudflap. Not because I like the characters, just because I think, honestly, they kind of should get toys just to kind of round out everything else. It's going to be controversial opinion here, but I'm just saying it. Okay? But that's unrelated. This is G1 Skids, not that horrifying abomination. But anyway, yes, he does a good job of filling out your 85 Autobots, but overall, I'd say unless you're kind of building a big Autobot lineup, he is really nothing special. He's got some tight joints in the arms, which make posing kind of a nightmare. His legs are nice, except for the fact that on mine, the wheels don't really sit in there very well. His transformation's pretty simplistic, which I like. But overall, he's a pretty average figure. I definitely think there are better ones in Legacy Wave 1, just better figures you could get in general. However, if you really want just kind of another Autobot, he's definitely good for that. I'm glad he got a toy, and I'm glad it's at least decent. That's really all I have to say about it. So, I'd say if you want just an Autobot soldier, or someone to kind of stand in the background of your diorama or your stop motion stuff, by all means, go for it. But if you really don't want to spend $20 on someone you don't really know that much about, I'd say don't go for it. Spend your money on like Laser Prime or something. But anyway, so yes, that's Skids. Average figure, I definitely think we'll be moving on to bigger and better things down the road. Because I believe we're going to be doing Drag Strip next, as I'm just going to be reviewing these in the order I got them. So, yes, that's all I have to say about Skids. So with that being said, this has been Rod and Todd, signing off.